The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, trusted by over 500 NFL players for their winning smiles, and broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your host, Nicole Hutchison.
What up?
Uh-oh.
Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign here in the SWBC studio. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Brianna Aldridge and Aisha Morrison. Ladies, good morning!
Happy Tuesday.
How y'all doing?
Goes.
Wake up! Wake up! Y'all know what time it is.
You know what? Like, Chris he's been converted.
How's that button?
It's only right. I feel like it's
Very
only
much
right.
so.
Absolutely. Are y'all
Tater
good?
tots.
Early?
Yeah, ready for a game, Sunday game. Let's go.
Yeah, Cowboys.
Definitely
Get on
ready.
a regular schedule.
It definitely feels like they haven't played in forever, huh? It definitely feels like they haven't played in forever, and it hasn't been that long.
I'm not a fan of the Thursday night games. It messes up my whole routine. I was just talking about Nicole. Like, let's get the routine back.
Absolutely. Well, we get it back this week. Obviously, the Cowboys kick off against the New York Giants on Sunday at noon. But there was some news yesterday.
Here she goes.
Perrion Winfrey. Sorry, it's early. I got to get in.
Here she go.
Here she goes.
They're sick of my stuff. All right. Perrion Winfrey being moved to injured reserve. Obviously, kind of putting a little damper and some depth there at the three-tech position. You got Osa, Solomon Thomas. Then you move over to the one-tech position. Kenny Clark. Hello. Jay Thawia, Mazi Smith. And Mazi Smith, we're going to get to him as well because he was inactive for week one, former first-round pick. But, ladies, Perrion Winfrey, what does that do for your defensive line, the impact that that loss could make?
Well, coming out of training camp, I thought Perrion Winfrey was one of the stronger rotational guys.
Absolutely.
So it was when he saw he was inactive week one, hoping he was going to get back healthy. Hasn't practiced since August 31st. Joe Hoyt from Dallas Morning News reported that day at practice he needed help by two Cowboy staff members to get off the field, but then he was moving around okay, so that's something you thought he would bounce back from. But the back injury, I mean, there wasn't too many details on what it actually was, but anytime you hear back injury, that could be like spasms. I hate to bring him up, but Michael Parsons had, back injuries, and he had to get that like a weekly thing, but he worked through it, so I was hoping to see the same thing from Perrion Winfrey. But he's gone for at least 4 games. So that first thing I saw, that immediately opens up a roster spot. So in my mind, do they go add another guy to get that rotational rep? I know you'll talk about Mazi Smith. It kind of feels like he would possibly get the promotion, but then I'm looking at week one and he was a healthy scratch. So a lot of questions in that room right now, but definitely lost a rotational guy who's proven he can stop the run, help stop the run, I should say, and had some more than really good flashes during training camp in the preseason. And we just talked about how great his story was, right? Like coming from the UFL, having some off-the-field issues, but working through all that. So kind of a bummer not to see Winfrey out there, but hoping that he can get back on the field after he sits those 4 games out.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer just because of all the work that he put in the preseason. I obviously think he's the most consistent defensive lineman you had through the preseason outside of James Houston, because that's James Houston. But, yeah, I mean, the defensive tackle room needs depth. And what we saw last week is that Eberflus elected to, he had different fronts. He was rotating guys in. I think having a mixture of guys is something that he wants. And so it is a bummer. I'm really curious to see what happens after, because you mentioned Bree, you just mentioned the roster spot. Hey, there's somebody else in your division that is doing stuff.
Very much so.
Doing stuff because they seen one game and was like,
Talk about it.
I don't like that.
Talk about it.
So if this does open up a roster spot, like Bree said, who gets elevated, or if does anyone get brought in? Does Dallas be proactive about some of the things that they see and try to get ahead of it, or do they just elevate somebody in-house? We'll see. But at this point, who is there to elevate? Like, I mean, depending on if you're talking about a defensive tackle, there really isn't anyone. So it is a weird place to be in, and I feel for Perrion because he put in so much work during training camp in the preseason for him to not be able to play for the first 4 games. We wait.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys as of this week, actually, that were available. Christian Wilkins, former Cowboy, Neville Gallimore. You got Linval Joseph. Carl Davis is on this list as well. But, yeah, I mean, we'll see what the Cowboys decide to do there. But I do want to make sure we touch on Mazi Smith because I feel like we have to. Mazi.
Oh, Mazi.
Mazi, someone who Brian Schottenheimer mentioned, yesterday and plenty of times before where he's needed to see a lot more consistency out of him. With him inactive for week 1, Jay Thoia getting a lot of those reps behind Kenny Clark at the one tech position, is there a reason to panic if you're Mazi Smith?
I don't think Mazi Smith panics.
Breathe, please.
The door's right there.
I'm just saying.
Breathe.
He doesn't. I think that's the frustration. I get added a lot when I do some Mazi content during training camp, and I think that's a lot of frustration that's coming from social. Is just the passion of Mazi Smith hasn't really been seen consistently, to Nicole's point. And that's why when I saw Perrion Winfrey, it seems like Taisha's point, like who else is there? That's who there is. So another reporter mentioned they feel like Mazi Smith is the guy you break the glass on in an emergency. So does this count as an emergency? Possibly. It's a little hard to watch the Eagles making all these moves. One injury, even no injuries. They just didn't like what they saw against us where they won and they're making moves already. It's something. Are the Cowboys going to get in that? I don't know. But I don't know how much you ladies get into the PFF grades, but Mazi Smith has been one of the NFL's lowest graded defensive tackles for 2 seasons in a row. Last year, he ranked among 220 interior defensive linemen, he was at 208. So when you're talking about frustrations on fans about making a possible trade, well, that stat I just read you also, another team has to want him. That's another thing there. Christy, I know last week talked about the money-wise. It wasn't just, hey, the glossy, he's a first-round pick. We got to keep trying and developing. It's also costly. They'll have to eat some money there. He's guaranteed $13 million on this rookie deal. But yeah, obviously not living up to expectations as a third-year first-round pick. You have other people like Joe Toia coming in and it's showing some more jazz, if you will. Not necessarily saying he's better than or showing better than Mazi Smith, but it's just that he's hanging with someone who's been here in this system for going on his 3rd season. So I don't know, Aisha, do you break the glass? Is this an emergency? Do you just give the man a chance? They are going against the Giants. We talked about how weak, that's probably their weakest point looking at the Giants film is their O-line. So is this a confidence?
Face.
Huh?
Fix your face.
Fix your face.
Fix it now.
It's fixed. It's fixed. Listen. I want the best guys on the field. If the coaches don't feel like he's ready for that, then they feel like he's not ready for that. As far as what Mazi should feel like, I would hope he would want to play. I would hope he would be ready to play if they call upon him. I don't necessarily feel like the Giants' offensive line requires you to go get somebody like, come save us, help out. I don't feel that way. But yeah, I mean, just in regard to him being a healthy scratch, they say what you want to say, and I think I'm gonna go back and forth with it all year. In fairness, is that Brian Schottenheimer and this coaching staff, they are not gonna put you out there if they don't feel like you're ready to be out there, because we feel like Jaden Blue is somebody you could have used last week, and they was like, we need to see him be more consistent too. And so I think, obviously these coaches know more than what we know. And then also, too, there's a standard that's being set. And I'm really curious to see, like, how, I know we're going to get into it more, like, how that translates through the season if you need guys. Mm-hmm. Because you could have used Jaden Blue last week. However, these coaches, head coach, hey, they don't believe he's ready. They want to see more consistency from him. They are really, he earned it is something that Schottenheimer is continuously saying. He doesn't, and one thing about him, he gonna say it.
Yep.
He don't sugarcoat it. He be like, he has to earn
Not
it.
there.
He has to earn it. So I'm at a point to where I'm going to trust the coaching staff at this point and hope that Mazi's ready if his number gets called, and that's all I got.
And I want to make sure we're clear on the word consistency in terms of what it means from the coaching staff. They had mentioned that it's not just about how you are in terms of your production, but it's how you show up every single day. You can't have no good Wednesday practice, show up Thursday and slack off. That's what they're saying. You come to meetings, you prepare, you ask questions. That's what they're expecting out of those guys. And if you are not doing that, that means you're playing in summary. So, Jaden Blue as well, one of those guys. But a guy that they did talk about, Brian Schottenheimer did talk about, is Marshawn Kneeland in that press conference. Aisha and Bree, y'all have had a chance to see, Kneeland from last year to this year, his rookie season. He had some flashes, but then, of course, the injury kind of set him back a little bit. But what have y'all seen from him in terms of his pass rush and how it's improved and his run-stopping ability, Aisha?
One of the highest graded defenders against the run this past week per PFF. Man, listen, Marshawn Kneeland, I remember watching him in the draft and I said it out loud. I actually sat in this chair. And I said, actually. And I said, I'm not in the mood to have to see someone like him twice a year. And because I felt like he was the type of player that Philly would pick up and you would have to see him, or someone in the division. One thing about him is that he is extremely powerful, very violent hands. He wins on effort and motor and just constant pursuit. However, I do believe that he is starting to develop more of an awareness as a pass rusher. Got to talk to him at training camp about it as well. Just some of the things that he had been working on to disengage. And so I think he's still working the hands. I think he's still working the speed off the line and not just rushing down the middle of guys, because he can't do that. He's powerful enough to just drive guys back. And he did that with Lane Johnson a couple times in the game. So from a pass rush standpoint, I think he is just learning how to win off the snap more consistently, and also to using those violent hands with a purpose and setting himself up with his pass rush. Also, too, he's playing off the run. This is probably, I think when it's all said and done, this is going to be one of your best run-stopping edges. That's what he was brought in for, in my opinion. I think the pass rush is a plus, obviously, but this is a run-stopping edge who is physical. Y'all, the way he stacks and gets people's hands off of them and is able to disengage, grown man. You understand me? Like grown man. And so I think his pass rush, as it gets better through the year, you need it to get better through the year. Yeah. At this point, you need it to get better through the year, but the run defense is so important, and I don't want that to get overshadowed with the pass rush and wanting him to be a pass rusher. If he is a steady run-stopping edge, that is also a good thing for you. So I'm enjoying seeing him develop, and I was really hoping after last year we had the knee, he didn't look himself all the way last year after he came back from the knee. Coming back this year, seems like he did some things, went to the lab, and hopefully he just continues to grow as the season goes on. What you got, girl?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what you just said, he's someone I been excited to see in his second year. Thinking about Marisley if on the top of my head, but this player in particular, I got to sit down when he was a fresh rookie in training camp, just talking about the vibe of Oxnard and what have you. And he said basically what Aisha just said. Like, I came in to, stop the run, but I want to prove to this coaching staff at that time, talking about Mike Zimmer, that I can be a pass rusher as well. And you're seeing that now. And I think when you're talking about that group in general, I think he's one of the stronger ones. I want to see more of, as much as Marshawn Kneeland as we can get on the field. I think he makes a great impact with that group overall. And this is what you're going to need with this team we've been talking about. Sorry for all the viewers who are tired of hearing about Micah Parsons, but Micah Parsons does count for 2 people, sometimes 3. And so when you're talking about people who have to avoid that now, Marshawn Kneeland is someone you want on the field, because I think a lot of the people that we have right now, they can do one or the other. And I think that is the problem.
Is it fair? Do you ladies think it's fair that we're putting, again, Micah, going to Green Bay was abrupt to some extent. Do you think it's fair that we're putting Donovan Izaraku as a rookie in a position to where the expectation is that you need him to be a viable pass rusher right away? Or do you think it's fair that we're putting this amount of pressure on Marshawn Kneeland? I mean, again, it's his second year, so I think it is a little different. But do you ladies think that it's reasonable to try to try to push these guys to measure up to the production that Micah Parsons had?
I think that it's natural for us to put that type of expectation on those guys because, I mean, you have to look at what he did here, right? Double-digit sacks in 4 of his 5 seasons, right? So, I mean, you it's just natural, but realistically, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And I think that the coaching staff, and that's no shot to, Donovan Izaraku. He's a rookie, still growing. He's a great player so far, just for being a rookie. But, I mean, I don't even think the coaching staff is even putting those expectations on them. I think that they're trying to find ways to make up for that production as a whole, which is why you're seeing all those different personnel groupings. And yeah, I think it's just natural for us to do that, just because we've had Micah in the building.
And to brief, go ahead.
Well, kind of feeding off what Nicole just said, I'm thinking about what Schottenheimer just said last week going into week 1. Hey, my motto is go out there, you're going to make mistakes, have fun, play the game that you love, and play free. The mistakes are going to come, but if I tell you, you have to, what did he do his little impression of?
So tired of him.
Oh, we're playing I can't even do it. It's too much. But the mistakes are going to come. This is a young group, and everyone is talking about Dak Prescott, his age, and 32, his window's closing. Yeah, but the guys around him are very young. This is a young team overall.
Very much so. No, you're 100% correct. And I think as the season goes on, I'm going to say this. Somebody got to get some respect. You're going to have to, this defensive line is going to, outside of Oso, Diggy and Kenny Clark.
Who got your respect so far?
People.
Who has
I think Kenny Clark has the entire locker room respect.
That's what I was about to say. I mean, who has?
Pass rushers.
Pass rushers.
That's where we're going
right now. James Houston. I say there's not you're gonna have to. Obviously, the defensive tackles are drawing double teams. You're not drawing any double teams outside of that, really. And that's the difference, to your point, Bree. That's the difference, is that Micah would sometimes be getting triple teamed.
Yep.
So if they trying to help over here, it ain't no different than any other sport. You got a double team, you got a triple team, somebody open. And I know that Eberflus and some of these lineups, like you ladies were talking about, what he is trying to do is create one-on-ones, because teams are just going to double team your guys to death if they can't get off blocks, if they get pinned inside, if they're not containing. And so for me, this edge group has a lot of growing to do. I think they have the potential to do so, but somebody's going to have to step up and really show themselves as a rusher that is threatening. So teams have to allocate a tight end or something out there. You're trying to dictate matchups, and I don't know who on the edge at this point dictates matchups or dictates a double team or teams having to change around things. They're just doing it on the interior, which is great. But I think somebody's going to have to step up.
You need somebody like Dante Fowler, which you were expecting to show up in week 1, but really struggled against Philly. But you need a lot of other guys to step up, like Jaden Blue. We did briefly mention him in the first segment, but I do want to take a look at him in this second segment here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
All right, Cowboys fans, this one's for us. If the men in your life bleed blue and silver like we do, I've found the perfect way to elevate their game day rituals. Gillette just released their best razor in Cowboys colors, and it is everything a Cowboys fan could want. The new Gillette Labs official Dallas Cowboys licensed razor combines his Cowboys pride with Gillette's best shave. And with 50% longer lasting blades, it is truly the gift that keeps on giving. Get it while you can at Gillette.com/NFL. Gillette's best shave is also available as heated.
How does the cheerleader's hair always look so perfect? We asked, and they shared one of their biggest beauty secrets. If you want hair like theirs and confidence to match, use Babyliss Pro styling tools. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders use Babyliss Pro curling irons to get those perfect game day curls. To get the hair you see on the cheerleaders, head to BabylissPro.com. Use the code Cowboys20 for 20% off Babyliss Pro tools, the official styling tools of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Get the discount while it lasts. Offer may be withdrawn at any time at advertiser's discretion.
Cowboys Nation, the 2025 Dallas Cowboys schedule is officially here and limited tickets are available right now. Get ready to bring the noise as you watch your Cowboys live at AT&T Stadium when they host NFC East rivals Eagles, Giants, and Commanders, plus the Packers, Chiefs, Chargers, Vikings, and Cardinals. Visit DallasCowboys.com/tickets or SeatGeek.com, the official primary ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Get y'all tickets right now before they sell out. Welcome back into Girls Talk.
Wake up!
Presented by Invisalign. Here in the SWBC studio is 8:21 a.m. and we still rolling. Nicole Hutchinson alongside Brianna Aldridge and Aisha Morrison. Ladies, Jaden Blue was giving everybody the blues throughout training camp and the preseason. But I got a big butt there. That was
Isn't Blue sad?
big emphasis on the butt.
It's all right.
It's fine. We got the point.
Okay.
But Brian Schottenheimer with some comments yesterday and stating that, obviously Jaden is very talented, but there's a way that you have to reform. And it's sticking to that culture Aisha was talking about and the emphasis this coaching staff has on showing up every day. What did y'all take away from Shottie's comments, and was that kind of like that tough love or just a reality check for Jaden Blue?
He opened up my eyes a little bit. I was on the Jaden Blue wagon. Just put him in there. Why not? Like, he's our bursty guy. He brings something different. We can all agree Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, the two veterans, have more similarities than differences. And I think Jaden Blue is the sparkly, shining toy. We just kind of want to see that happens. But then I kind of thought about what Schottenheimer said about him having to earn a spot on the field and having consistency. Like Nicole said, that consistency are things that people can't see. It's outside of training camp. It's outside of the games. It's what he's doing on Wednesday practice and what he's doing on Thursday practice and Friday practice. Maybe all those things go into effect that we don't necessarily see. Even the media, we're only allowed to be on the field at a certain amount of time. You don't know what's going on in the classroom. Personally, I think the classroom has a lot to do with it because this is someone coming from a system in college where he wasn't the 1-2 running back. We forget that. And there's also a reason why he was taken or was available in that 5th round. He comes with a couple struggles as well. Miles Sanders, I know we're getting on him about that fumble, but that was an issue for Jaden Blue in college as well. And then talking about getting involved as a blocker. That is something, if you go back in Texas, that's something that Jaden Blue wasn't asked to do a ton of. That's probably going to be something he's going to be asked to do more here. So those things start to settle in. Really? And I said, let me take a deep breath. And then do you want Jaden Blue to go out there against the Eagles and having to block and things he hasn't really been asked to do a lot? And then I was like, all right. So I still feel like I want to see what he can do. I think he deserves that opportunity. He was injured, so we didn't see him in those first 2 preseason games. He didn't make his debut to the final one, too, so that might have another factor to do with it. But I'm still on the Jaden Blue wagon, but I understand where Schottenheimer's coming from, and he seems like a player who's going to put the work in. So,
yeah, no, I agree with everything that you said in regard to just him, us not knowing everything us not seeing everything that's going on, and and them trying to make sure that he's in a place to where he's ready. But also too, I do think that pass protection, we mentioned in special teams, all that stuff has something to do with it. And I do also think that little ankle thing he's been dealing with, maybe they did want to give him a little bit of extra time. And not saying that we know that. Nobody said anything. I'm guessing. So say y'all know. I ain't trying to hear nobody.
Was it the same ankle?
It was.
It was the same ankle. So maybe they're just trying to give him a little bit more time to rest that ankle as well. And it's a culmination of different things, and that's cool with me. I think the biggest thing is, I'm gonna say this, like going back and watching this game, this offensive line has the potential to be very talented, y'all. And even so, looking within with the Clayton Adams and a Connor Riley, I mean, these guys play pretty efficient for the most part. There were some hiccups, even on the Miles Sanders fumble. There were some hiccups from your left guard spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there were missed assignments and things like that. But this offensive line, specifically this interior, these athletic tackles, we thought that Tyler Guyton had a pretty good game, thought that Terrence Steele had a pretty good game. This team has the ability feels like they're going to have the ability to run the ball. Mm-hmm. And you can run the ball, but if you got a guy that can get explosives and take it to the house and doing things like that, then it's not only that you can run the ball, you can really hurt people's feelings when you run the ball. You can be devastating when you run the ball with explosive plays. We've been on the other side of that. Hello. Shut up. So for me, I'm looking at what Dallas has to maximize this offensive line. If this offensive line is going to continue, that was our first time seeing this offensive line together. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they can run block. And they can pass block, bless the Lord. And so I am at a place to where I understand that we want to make sure that Jaden Blue is ready and things like that. But I'm also like, okay, let's try to maximize what this offensive line is right now. And if this offensive line is good and you got okay running backs, fine. But if your offensive line is good and you get a running back, like an extra one, then it would make a heck of a difference. So I'm kind of in between, if that makes sense. I'm playing the fence.
We heard from heard from Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe yesterday after practice, and just listening to what they were saying, you feel like just being in there last year to this year, there's a different type of excitement when they're talking about their own group. Last year it was like, we have to work on this, we have to work on technique, and da-da-da. This time, like, Cooper Beebe is like, I have to give a lot of credit to Clayton Adams and Connor Riley because the scheme is so different, and that's one of the first things Cooper Beebe said. And then Tyler Guyton, who's not a very not strong. He prefers not to do all the talking, if you will. But one thing I wrote down from what Tyler Guyton said, he said it feels good to run with the running backs this year. That's something you did not see last year. And they both had a lot of praise for Javonte Williams. And I'm just excited to talk about a run game because I don't like when the national media is coming for the Cowboys run game every week.
It was weird coming into this game, and I ain't gonna hold you. I was losing it before the game because in my mind, I kept hearing some of the pregame shows and stuff, and people was like, "I just don't think the Cowboys are gonna be able to run the ball." Who told you that?
You did say that. You were saying on
they
business.
was going off last year, but they I guess forgot.
I mean, no, and I understand the skepticism. My thing is the coaching staff, like the run game coordinators that have been brought in, and a Clayton Adams and a Connor Riley, got a track record. Why do we believe everybody else's track record until it's our own? Why do track records matter except for when it is your OC? These coaches, Connor Riley was one of the best. Clayton Adams was one of the best with the Cardinals. You have them on this roster. So you have them on this team. So I was just kind of curious. I was like, I consistently was excited about. Now, and again, I understand fans got to see it. Like, people got to see it. I'm not taking that away from you. I'm just saying, how do we go so far left without any information? Because we hadn't seen anything to that point. So I'm just like, I think that to the original point, I do believe this, to your point, the scheme plays into what these guys do well. That interior is able to be powerful. That interior is able to trap and do some things and pull. And those tackles are able to be the athletes that they are. Terrence Steele and Tyler Guyton are not the most powerful tackles. They are not. but they are very athletic, and getting them out in space and giving them the opportunity to get upfield and stuff like that, I think is going to play to their benefit. And I believe these coaches see that, and that's why we saw that in this game as well.
Yeah,
What you
I
got, Nicole?
actually asked Javonte Williams yesterday at Cowboys Hour. Great interview, by the way. He did.
He was so cool.
He was so nice.
He's so cool.
Great guy. But no, I asked him, did your trust in this offensive line, like, how has it changed since you first got here until now? And he was like, I've just been impressed with the way that these young guys play together. But, they, all 5 of them, like, really put in the work off the scenes. We don't really see what they really do. And so that was good to hear from him. But I want to touch on something that Shotty had mentioned in the press conference yesterday about the offensive line. And he had basically said that there's the willingness there to want to run block. And a couple of those runs that Javonte had where he was kind of carrying 5-6 guys around him, it was that offensive line that was there helping. And so that was something that you didn't really necessarily see last year, or really the year before either. So, this offensive line has certainly taken a step, but something that you do obviously want to see as well is see a little bit more George Pickens. We did not see that in week 1. Thoughts on that, ladies?
I got 2 thoughts.
Okay, go.
I got
Go
2.
with one
She said I
first.
got 2 thoughts.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you both of them.
Go on.
I got 2 thoughts. First thought is Schottenheimer described this offense as a progression offense.
Mm-hmm.
I want y'all to know that the first read is CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's cooking, that's where the quarterback's going to go. Dak is typically he's a progression quarterback. That's what he has been for the majority of his career. And so it's there for him. If it's there for him, he's going to go there. He even said it early in his career. If it's not there, I'm not giving you the ball, brother. Like, I'm just not going to do it. And I think that's why we saw so much of CeeDee Lamb. They went at Adoree Jackson, as they should have. Mm-hmm. As they should have. No offense to Adoree. I'm sorry.
Feels like offense.
Screaming.
I hate it for him. That baby was on the Giants, cooked. That man was on, and then he go to Philly, still struggling. So anyway, they saw Adoree Jackson. There clearly was that's a weakness that they saw, and they went at that last game. I will say, my second thought is there does have to be, they do have to figure out how to integrate Pickens into the offense. But even at that, it is important that he stays engaged. It is important that he stays locked in to what is happening in the game, because unfortunately, watching back some of that tape, I was like, brother, what? He was strolling around and sightseeing and stuff like that on the field.
Did you say sightseeing?
Well,
Big help.
so there were times where he was disengaged. You could tell he was not finishing routes. You could tell that the effort wasn't there with blocking. And these are things that people have talked about with him before. He got a clean slate with me. So that's my first impression of you in game right now. And also, too, the penalty. That penalty was huge. Yep. The Cowboys were in 1st and goal. That turned into 1st and 22, something like that. Like, that also hurts you. So with George Pickens, my 2 thoughts are, this is a progression offense. That's how it's going to be. However, figure out how to get him involved, but he also got to stay involved when he's not involved, because his job is to – not his job, but in some of these plays, him running his route keeps the defense honest. Mm-hmm. It keeps the defense honest. And if they see on film you not running your routes, that's going to be a problem in the future. So I hope that this isn't something that is like a regular thing and he's able to bounce back from, because
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate having to talk about it.
How do you balance that, though?
Balance
The fact that you need to keep him involved, engaged, and yeah, I mean, how do you balance that? Also trying to keep him involved in this offense.
I just think Dak is a quarterback that can evenly distribute the ball. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult because if the matchup is there, if Adoree Jackson is getting whooped out there, why would I? start changing course or whatever. But I also think too, and I know we've seen it in practice, ladies, and I'll ask you, I know we've seen it in practice and Pickens and Dak connecting and stuff. Like, do you think they need some in-game chemistry? Maybe they need some time to get
I was going to say, I think it has to do with trust.
Yeah, I think it's a trust thing, too.
But he said there was no trust factor when he spoke post-game.
But if going to say, to be fair, Dak's not going to say I trust CD more than Pickens, but that's the reality.
Watching that tape is not going to help that situation. Yeah. Like, when they sit and watch that tape and post up and eat their snacks and put their feet up in that film room, it's not going to help that you seeing number 3 not finishing routes. And the quarterback, say what y'all want to say about the quarterback. I know he seemed like but the quarterback will cuss you out, and the quarterback wants you to be in your place. So, like, be in the spot that you're supposed to be in, rather. So, I do think there needs to be some in-game trust, and I do think there is going to be a little time for them to kind of integrate him into the offense. I think you got to be to your point, Nicole, I think you just have to be intentional about it and how you set him up and how you're setting things up for him to be involved. I don't know what that looks like, but, baby, you're going to have to do something because I don't want it to become a big deal.
I mean, it's telling that CeeDee Lamb, 13 targets, Pickens 4, and then Jake Ferguson has more targets than Pickens at 6. That was the first thing that jumped off. Now, Pickens, he was saying all the right things. The chemistry's there, but everyone has to remember Pickens has no contract next year. He is trying to get paid. And that came up in the press conference, and I'm glad it did, because essentially that isn't Brian Schottenheimer's job to think about Pickens' contract, right? But it is Brian Schottenheimer's job to get Pickens involved because you knew the type of receiver you were getting. No shade to him. I'm very excited to see what Pickens does in this offense. But there's also a reason why Mike Tomlin was ready to say goodbye to someone who had a lot of potential. And I think we saw some of that. Aisha attested to, I saw it too, because I thought when you're sitting in the press box, you see things differently. And then when you go back and watch, like you're seeing the people who are getting the targets. So when you go back and watch, the one play that stood out to me, Aisha, when you're talking about route running, was the miss to Jake Ferguson. Because if you look at the tape, it was George Pickens doing a half route, if you will. As a receiver, you need to sell to the defense that you're going for that ball. He gave up so quickly that the safety was able to jump out to Jake Ferguson, and you saw he had no chance of catching that ball, a catchable ball. And I think that's what Aisha is talking about. Those things matters, and those could have changed the game because what came next? We saw what came next. And that changed the game. It was pivotal. The Sanders fumble doesn't happen if that ball is caught. That's just a reality. So like you said, the first thing these guys are doing is going back, they're watching film, and Dak Prescott is going to hold all of his receivers accountable because effort matters. How many of y'all been in group projects and there's one person who just not really holding up the end of the deal? Like, you don't want them to give it. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is a group effort. And I think Pickens is gonna have to come here, get humbled a little bit, and do some of the dirty work. When you're talking about pass protection, it was clear that that's, and I'm not saying like he doesn't want to do it. I can't speak for Pickens.
He can block.
But
he can block. I seen him at training camp.
He got the tools.
He can block.
Does he want to? Maybe not.
I seen it with my own 2 eyes. I know he can block if he wants to block. But you're 100% correct. Because even let's talk about next week. You going against the Giants. Giants turn on this tape, and they see you not finishing routes. You can't even sell that route because that's another thing too. It's the game within the game. These route concepts are setting up other route concepts. They're setting up other instances in the game because Dallas can hit, like they could hit CD, but that 9 route that Pickens is running, that you want him to continue to run. When it's there, I'm gonna hit it. Like sometimes play callers are setting things up for next weeks or next games or whatever the case may be, or next drives. And if you're not selling it, if you're not running it, you're not gonna get it. And I think that and I wonder if the quarterback seen you have run routes.
Coach Schotty yesterday in the press conference, he said, in my opinion, there was 1 or 2 instances that we probably should have went to Pickens, and that stood out too because then that means that's Dak's choice, as he should. I mean, he's been in a system with CD for 6 years. Like Pickens has only been here for a short amount of time.
See, but I do have a question for y'all, though. With CD, and it's weird, and it's weird. So with CD in the drops that he was having, I do wonder, like, with the coach, at what point in time do you say, he's struggling right now? Or, like, does that make sense? Because, even in basketball, like, I know people will, like, continue to spam players or continue to give them the ball. You tell Steph Curry, keep taking shots, even if he's in a low. But it's like, at one point in time, do you say, baby, he ain't got it today?
What was that? That's what I feel like he did, though, on that final, I think it was the final drive. They finally throw the ball on the outside to George Pickens, but it was before that last drop that CD had. But that's where it also goes back to, did Shotty see, the inconsistency with Pickens throughout the entire game? Because yesterday he did like this. He said, I went to the CD. This was my play call sheet. Pickens, this is the play call sheet. So it seemed like he had the intentions of balancing out the play calls between the two of them. Yeah. But you just never know if he saw in game, like, okay, CD's struggling, but we're gonna just keep going to him because GP ain't doing it.
And in a normal day, like, it was, the word uncharacteristic is what was used to describe CeeDee Lamb's game. Again, CeeDee Lamb had 7 drops last season in 17 games. Well, I think he didn't play a little bit for one of them. It's okay. 17-ish games.
Yeah.
He had 4 Thursday night. I'm not a betting woman. It's against the NFL rules, by the way.
That part.
Just finished my
we did. We did our training.
We don't bet up here. But if I did, I'm betting on CD. Y'all irritating. I'm betting on CeeDee Lamb every single time in those big moments.
That's fair.
I'm not going to Pickens. I'm not going to Tolbert. That's just the reality. I could see CD drop 5 balls, and I'm still going to go to him if it's the game-winning drive. That's just the reality. Now, if we're having this conversation, which I don't think we are, week 3, then that's a different conversation. But I just think it's so unlike CD, and I don't think anyone, like, hearing guys have been playing the game, retired receivers, some people are talking about the preseason reps, if they would have had those, all that kind of stuff. People have theirs on that. Dak is on, so can't put on Dak. So it's like CD, butter on the hands. I don't know what's happening with him, but I just don't see that being a problem.
I don't either. But that's just it's a curious thing. Like, maybe it was, like I said, maybe it was just a matchup too. Like, that's kind of how I feel too. Is maybe it was just a matchup. Dallas was taking what the defense was giving them, and the defense was giving CD a lot of space. Maybe Pickens had some space, but CD had a lot of space. Yeah, lots of space. So that's just.
And he still had a great game. Like, the stats.
Oh, he was. Yeah, he had a strong game. Like, it was some of the catches he made earlier in that game, coming back to the ball, helping out the quarterback. Yeah, but it's.
Yeah.
I will say, I expect for them to be intentional about trying to figure out how to get Pickens involved early. Like,
yeah, that would be nice. I think that'll be a difference, and that is
next week.
That is going to be Shotty's job. That is his task going forward, because you have all these different personalities. Oh, you brought him in here. You gave up a 3rd-round pick. We done hyped up Pickens to the fullest. So now this is bring us the playbook. All
right, we got to take our second break here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk. We're back with more conversation up next.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
How does the cheerleader's hair always look so perfect? We asked, and they shared one of their biggest beauty secrets. If you want hair like theirs and confidence to match, use Babyliss Pro styling tools. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders use Babyliss Pro curling irons to get those perfect game day curls. To get the hair you see on the cheerleaders, head to BabylissPro.com. Use the code Cowboys20 for 20% off Babyliss Pro tools, the official styling tools of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Get the discount while it lasts. Offer may be withdrawn at any time at advertiser's discretion.
Are you a Cowboys super fan? The search is on for the 2025 Fan of the Year presented by Captain Morgan. Now through September 29th, nominate extraordinary NFL fans, dynamic duos, and game changers who rep the Cowboys with pride and turn every game day into an unforgettable adventure. You could be sent to Super Bowl 60. Enter to win at NFL.com/fan of the year today.
All right, we're wrapping things up here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, with a 3-word message to the team as they get ready to play the Giants. We are going to break down New York Giants film over the next couple of days. But, yeah, what's your 3-word message, ladies?
I didn't know it was for us. Okay.
It is.
What do you got, Title Queen? Y'all didn't like mine.
Yours was fine.
Oh, okay.
It was just straight to the point. I liked it.
Get it together.
Okay.
Oh, barnacles. What about you,
I'm going to be
Nicole?
positive. I'm going to say build upon it.
Okay.
I felt like mine was okay.
It's great. It's great.
Mine had
Mine
had the Jimmy Johnson approach.
Same. Yeah.
I'm gonna be. Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah.
It's my turn.
Yep.
Play cleaner football.
That's fair.
That was cute. That was 3. All right.
If they play cleaner football, could they win? They would have won that game.
Absolutely. I like that. Play cleaner
That's fair.
football. We got get it together, and we got build upon it.
Get it together is killing me.
Yeah, it's actually kind of
It's no.
I love it, though.
It's basically what we said, but more direct.
All right, ladies, this has been great. Great show. Love the 8 a.m. time.
I'm starting to like it a little bit. It be hurting me
Wake
when I
up!
first wake
I
up.
love seeing y'all fresh
What's
in the
your
morning
hair?
to start my day.
Do you?
Bare face.
I know y'all love hearing us to start y'all's day.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Thanks for waking up with us. This has been great. All
Do it
right.
again tomorrow.
No, we ain't got no choice. Bye. For Brianna Aldridge, Aisha Morrison, Nicole Hutchison. Bye. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!